Hello again. So I want to talk this morning a little bit about the process that I find myself in, and I'm sure many people do at this time. And it really is a process of transformation. I know for myself, over the last month and a half, however long it's been, I know I've had a chance to reflect on many things in my life. I've had a chance to be present to things that I probably wouldn't otherwise need to face or be present to. My lifestyle has changed dramatically, and I'm sure this is true for you and for many of us in the world right now. Our life has changed. And there's a difference between what I call transformation and just mere change. An analogy would be to, rearrange the furniture on your patio, for example. That's change. You're changing things around a little bit, but it's still the same thing. Change might be, getting a different job. Transformation, on the other hand, goes much deeper. It's a real shift. It's a shift from one way of being to another way of being. In fact, Robert Gass, one of the people who talk about transformation a lot, says it's a radical shift. It's a big change. And in a way, that's what's happening right now. Now, there has to be a catalyst for that kind of change to happen. Usually it can be some major life event that forces us to take stock and take a look at things. Other times it can be an experience that we have through some practice that we engage. In the work that I do, Phoenix Rising, we deliberately set up an experience of oneself through one's body as a catalyst for transformation, to support a process of change. But what we've been through the last month and a half is really much different. It has been the COVID-19 event worldwide has been, in fact, a catalyst for transformation. We've been forced, through no choice of our own, to adapt to another way of being. I know many people tell me that they've engaged in connecting with friends, family, others, in a way that they've never had to connect before. In a way we're depending upon each other. And there are many ways we can approach that process. And we're right in it right now, in fact. We're right in the midst of it. Where some people think we're beginning to come out to the other side. But when we come out to the other side, it won't be back to the same old. It's going to be a new way of being that we're all going to be facing, because we've all been through something very, very major and different. So we are going to be different, but so is our world that we're going to live into. And so we need to prepare in a way for that birth. It's really like a birth. Birth is one of the few things or few life events that is really a beautiful transformation. The birth of a new child. Well, in some ways, we're that child being born into a new world, having been through labor. All due respects to the mothers out there, I have never done it, but I have witnessed birth for 5 of my children. And so I'm speaking more from a witness place, but it's both a beautiful and to some extent a painful process. In fact, in many cases, it is a painful process. But the pain is worth it, because the pain gives new life, new hope, new ways of being. And so in a way, we're right now in the birth canal of transformation as we begin to be born to this new way of being in this very new and different world. So we can approach that in one of two ways. We will transform regardless. It's being basically thrust upon us. It's just a question of choice around how we do that. Do we wish to go with the flow of that? Do we wish to embrace that? Or do we wish to stay in resistance, hoping for the same old world to come back again? Which it won't. It's one of the elements of transformation is a recognition of some very, very deep truths about reality. And one of those deep truths about reality is that everything is impermanent, everything is always changing. We're seeing that now very, very clearly, even if we've never seen it or fully appreciated or accepted it before in our life. It's right here, right now, it's upon us. So how do we go with that? First of all, I think what has helped me in the past has had an openness to the transformational process, to accept that, yeah, this too is changing. And I need to be present to that. I need to know it. I need to feel it. And that's where my body comes in, very, very helpful, because sometimes my mind will get carried away. I'll start to embrace the reality of transformation, and then the uncertainty, the fear, the judgment, all of those things will begin to be there, but in a way to kind of help. I try to go to my mind and think it through to try to figure out, oh, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to be with this? What's the worst thing that could happen? How do I protect, And all of those things are important. But we can do that with openness and ease and gentleness rather than panic and fear. And so I think that's the first choice, is to, for me, I get into my body and that helps me notice those things. And then I can take a step back, if you like, take a breath, feel it, and then decide, okay, how do I want to be with this? But we do have to look reality square in the eye. We do have to say, yes, this is what's happening now. And I can either go with it or fight it. So letting go of the resistance is one. One of the things we also do at this time is we begin to look backwards. We see ourselves. It's like, in a way, like looking in a mirror. We've had time. We've had time to pause and reflect. And I know for me, some of those reflections have taken me into some pretty dark places. A lot of regrets, a lot of if only. Oh, if I could have done that differently, if I would have been this way with this particular person or whatever, a lot of those things come up. And there's a temptation there to get carried away into shame or guilt or beating myself up, and that doesn't help. So I've got to be mindful of that as well and know that, I'm not perfect. I haven't been a perfect human being all throughout my life. That's true. That's a reality. But I do have now. I do have a choice into how I be now. And I can learn from my past, hopefully. And I can move forward with greater confidence, greater awareness, maybe a clearer intention, maybe a little more humility, softness, and openness to others than perhaps I did in the past. So that's a wonderful opportunity. But like anything, it's not just an automatic done deal. It's a birth process. And right now, here in that birth canal, it's a little uncomfortable. But discomfort is always part of transformation too. We never transform anything without feeling a little bit of a burn. Sometimes a big burn. Sometimes a big whack on the head. Transformation is like that. But it doesn't mean that on the other side of it, there isn't something better, where we can lift our game, we can step up, and we can let go of the stuff that gets in our way. So that's where we're sitting right now, at that opportunity, that moment of embracing the new being that we're becoming and embracing this new world that we're going to be living into. And we can do that gently, easily, and with purpose, or we can do it with resistance, fear, regret, all of those other things. And my choice is to go forward with an open heart. And I think that's what we're called for right now. We're called to open our heart to ourselves first, self-compassion. Self-compassion for our struggles, our fears, our anxieties, our not knowing, our difficulties. So we need to, go forward with that, with self-compassion. But then compassion for others too. Compassion for all the others in our lives and elsewhere in our world that are embracing this time of letting go of the old and being born to the new. And there are other practices too that support this. I won't go into those in detail now, but if you'd like a taste of it, tonight, Monday, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA, 6 p.m. Eastern USA, I lead an hour-long practice which consists of a little movement, yoga, meditation, and a short talk. My focus tonight, on the class that I'll be leading in about probably 10 hours from now, the focus is going to be on connection. Let's connect. Let's connect to ourselves. Let's connect to each other. Let's do this together. Let's hold hands as we allow ourselves to be born into this new world and born into the new being that we are becoming. So I invite you to join me. That's 6 p.m. tonight, and I look forward to talking with you again. I enjoy these talks. It's a great time for me to connect from that deeper place inside of me and to share myself. Hopefully that there will be some resonance that you can take from it. But I also want to say that it's very, very important that we each live our own life and follow our own path and take our own journey. So if there are things that I say that you resonate with, by all means use them. But if there are things that don't, please don't. Find that within yourself. Find ways to do that. And be well. Be happy.